I had no dream.
Hello?
Right.
Even then.
Yeah, see, I love toast.
Yeah. IBG.
That's like my ex.
I get that.
I knew I had this press conference, didn't matter when I back in. You realize that your parents got married in February, you were born.
Yes.
It was a little right. Of the same year. Right. And she's like, there's so many people that go. They see the guys.
Yeah.
We used to be able to win more president. Now, yeah.
My parents saw it, I saw it before. Sometime they got needed to lower. Dad had just turned 20, my mom. Joe Ford, my mom has 3 kids that has to tell me.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna.
So I'll shut this fan off and we're in my city. That's it.
Private truck.
Yeah, yeah.
That should get rid of that hum. Let's do a quick mic test for everybody. I shut that fan off, so it should be much cleaner now. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody good for white balance and everything? Okay. Check, check, check. You good? I'll wait for you to. Mic check testing. When I shut that fan off, so it should be good.
It should start here. No, we ran into each other one other time. That was the first time since you came back.
Why'd you open the back? What I do? You jumped my car. Why did you? You know what I did?
You know, I spent a week in San Diego with another producer doing an investigation back in '93.
He just made press, just come into Mayor.
I'll go left. Yeah, the state senator going into a foreign house.
Yeah.
4 days straight. Instead of going to Wisconsin. Jesus. Where are you?
Don't be an
Where do you
investigator.
Where do you think I am?
That's right. One of your guys, I thought it was my car. It looked just like a Subaru. I went into the back of it 3 times. I was there. You're one of your Chevys. I thought it was my Subaru, but I didn't just do it once. 3 times.
To put your gear?
Yeah, I just thought it was mine. They're sitting in the car. 3 times.
As far as your investigating piece, you might want to talk to,
Was that Denny D. Griselle? Who was doing that?
That's Bonnie. It's Bonnie's car.
Was that Stumpert?
Yeah.
What was he doing out there?
Research.
Research.
Yeah, right. There's a lawyer's office right next to it.
Oh, okay.
That we all parked there.
pretty good.
He just happened to have the marked vehicle.
Right in front of the school.
That's classic.
Yeah, we were out.
I, of course, sent it to him after.
We were in San Diego, and watching these, they were always talking, they're going to these conferences. And this one state senator kept going every day instead of going to the conference, he kept going into the porn theater.
Of course he did.
We had a female producer. She was, well, what happened was, no, I never went that far. I'll do a lot for a story, but I won't do that. So, but Erin Rasmussen was a producer with us, and she came out freaked out. She comes in back to the car and she had him on tape.
Oh, really?
And she goes,
I'm the only woman in
she
there.
goes, I'm the only one in here.
Of course.
She goes, you're not gonna believe where he is. He's in the porn theater over there. I leaned over and I go, Senator Solberg's in the porn theater.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I strapped on a camera with her, and the
Oh, yeah.
camera went in there with her. But I told him, I said, that was a crazy moment. He did it every single day, all day, rather than going to the conference.
And they all went crazy.
They all went crazy.
One went from Mexico, another one calls an everyday deal on.
The former House Speaker, she would call them with lobbyists on top of it.
Yeah.
Remember that? With lobbyists.
I remember framing her up, and she had 3 shots.
running around, and like a couple was just walking. Who was? I know it was right down the hall from Roger Miller's office. I can't remember who it was.
Oh.
And I mean, we were.
Roger was a, he liked to tip it.
Yeah. And
He
they were
liked to
past.
tip it.
I don't even know that.
He was the president of the Senate. I
Yeah,
remember, Senate
exactly.
Majority Leader for a while.
Oh, I've done interviews where the beer went on the floor.
He was a good, he
Yeah.
he enjoyed his, yeah, he liked tipping it. I wonder where he is these days.
I haven't heard.
He's long retired, I know.
Oh yeah, he hasn't been around in a while.
But those were good fun
Oh yeah.
times.
Fox screwed it up for him. We did we got someone who was so drunk he was falling asleep on it, and he missed a vote like as he's sitting in his chair on the floor.
That was back when we actually did some interesting stories.
Yeah.
No, not so much. No, not so much.
So is Sandy Pappas still there?
Yeah, still, yeah. Do you remember we partied that night with her and Aaron Anderson? Ellen Anderson. Aaron was our producer, Aaron Rasmussen.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was Ellen Anderson and Sandy. They were in their 30s at the time.
I know.
You know, they were like, 65, 70. Different time.
Well, Ellen was like, that's not the age that
No,
future
me
mayor.
too.
Place to call. Ran for mayor.
She was, no, she married him? Yeah, Andy Garcia. Was it Andy Garcia? Andy Garcia. Yeah, long hair, ponytail. Yeah, Andy Garcia. She married him. She married him.
Russ is on appeal to the St. Paul presser.
Wow.
Hey, Hubbard knew that.
Well, it was important issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Russ. I'm at the St. Paul presser, just waiting for it to start at 5:30.
I forgot that part.
2 years ago. That was fun.
What happens in 2 years?
I think you were. Well,
Anything to get to the truth.
yeah, we need to get this started. Sam, tell me more. Make me, bro.
Hey, Jay, you wanna fire the Yeah. Well, the over-under, he's got 534, I got 540.
36.
Right, you got 536?
We got a lot of money.
When the party starts, we don't wanna have,
I got 540, cut the cake.
how else is hard to house started.
I hear you, no, it's actually probably the right price, you know.
We got all the wireless deal.
There it is.
Got it? Or,
No?
no, I'm not seeing it. Yep, boom, I got
There
you.
it is. There it is.
Wow, this is exciting.
I can't.
Welcome to the future, here we go. First time.
iPhones is that thing.
Oh, look, it's a little magnifying.
Yeah, they said anytime now. So, I think they're just waiting for you to show up.
It's so
We had a guy in.
obvious, it's so easy to do.
We haven't even had the
Like,
ETA.
no, kid, everybody's taking a live.
Everybody knows who you are.
We got some mic play here.
So it's $100. That's what I heard.
And you know what's nice about these things? They're all those lead batteries, so they're not changing off double A's. No, it's first, this is the very first test, it's on Bluetooth.
Literally a
There's no
magnet,
frequency.
magnet, and then that's the mic on top. Rather than-
I thought I was gonna test it during the Zoom earlier, but I forgot to turn
First
it on,
time we
so
used it.
I didn't realize.
So we're trying to
I
find
just
out.
didn't.
More clear too.
Yeah, you probably could.
You could put it up there if you wanted, right? Jason?
I suppose. I don't know what the range is, but my guess is probably at least 50 feet because it's Bluetooth. I don't know,
There
is
you
it
go.
crazy? Like, look,
Some get hers at a bar and.
it's this tiny little thing and then it goes into this. But there's also,
Cameras
it's
in it.
Yeah.
a GoPro, but it doesn't, you can also, it doesn't have to be that, like, this thing comes with,
He said that's the receiver.
USB-C or something, so. People are putting it in their phones and stuff.
Yeah.
It just clips on a lapel or whatever.
What brand is it?
on this. He and I got $100 on this. He said 536, I said 540. So
Wait a minute, so it's gotta go under for me to win, or?
you gotta be,
What is 538?
you lose because that'd be closer, wouldn't it?
No, it'd be even. Information wash.
It's a wash at 538. So if it gets to 539, I'll take 250s, 520.
Let me go to a.
Okay.
So nobody's got 545?
No, actually, 540. I was being generous too. I should have gone, my original, when Sharon was talking about a live shot, I said, Sharon, only starts at 545.
So that's what you originally.
Yeah, but I said 540, when he said 536. No, it'll probably be around 45.
If you want to, if you have the Rams, there is actually nothing at stake. I just hope all the batteries are not.
Well, look, the money you win, tell I got on the.
Yeah, right. The $100 was just,
But that'd be really interesting to see. Sure. What was his answer?
the computer.
I mean, whatever, it's not ransomware.
Yeah, it is, that was a big, that was the announcement yesterday. Right. The announcement yesterday was ransomware. So.
What's up, buddy? How are you? Good to see you.
You actually lost. 36.
Yeah, they're starting here. They're starting.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here. Over the past 2 weeks, our city has responded to a cybersecurity incident that has demanded constant attention from our IT teams, department leaders, and partners at every level of government. We detected this intrusion on July 25th and began working immediately with the FBI, the Minnesota National Guard, the Department of Homeland Security, and other cybersecurity experts to investigate, limit damage, and protect the people and services that keep St. Paul running. 3 days before we discovered the breach, the Federal Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, published a public advisory about the exact criminal group responsible for this attack. The advisory describes a sophisticated, money-driven organization known for stealing and selling massive volumes of sensitive information from large corporations, hospitals, and governments, operations that have resulted in stolen data measured in the terabytes. Today, that group posted online what they allege to be approximately 43 gigabytes of stolen data from City of St. Paul systems. The City of St. Paul hosts more than 153 terabytes of data on our servers. In other breaches by this group, they have stolen and sold terabytes, thousands of gigabytes, from a single victim. The files they posted appear to come largely from a single shared network drive used by our Parks and Recreations Department, a place where individual employees have stored their own personal files over time. These are not core city systems like payroll, permitting, or licensing. The contents are varied and unsystematic. They could include everything from work documents, copies of IDs submitted for HR or travel, or even personal items like recipes. In other cases, this group has demanded ransoms and then sold data for profit. In this case, after we refused to pay the ransom, they chose to post the data publicly without trying to sell it. While the scope of what they published against us is far smaller than what they've accomplished elsewhere, the fact remains, someone was inside our systems. And once that happens, there's no way to guarantee that they could not have accessed more. I've directed our Department of Talent, Equity, and Retention to offer at no cost 12 months of credit monitoring and identity theft protection insurance to every full-time, part-time, and seasonal City of St. Paul employee, whether their data was released in this breach or not. This investment reflects our commitment to take care of our city workforce the exact same way we would all expect someone to take care of us and our families. At the same time, our technical response to this intrusion continues at full speed. Operation Secure St. Paul, our citywide password reset and device security operation, has now completed in-person password resets, credential verification, and security scans for more than 2,000 city employees. We've installed advanced security software on 90% of all unique city devices dramatically increasing our ability to detect and block threats in real time. And we've worked over the past 2 weeks, our teams, in close coordination with the Minnesota National Guard and FBI and private cybersecurity experts, have worked to carefully pore through every server, every system, every application that we host to ensure their integrity and their safety. This work will continue until we have completed security upgrades on every device and account, reviewed every system, and strengthened every public policy needed to protect our people and the services they deliver. City services remain online and intact. Our top priority from the beginning has been, as we have shared with you over and over, to ensure that 911 services remain uninterrupted, that residents can continue to rely on their city services, whether that's the police officers, the firefighters and paramedics who show up when we call 911, whether that's the lifeguards and rec employees who run our parks and our libraries and our librarians, or the employees who process permit applications and things like that. Those employees are operating very strongly, very creatively, and very capably, and oftentimes without some of the applications or network tools that they're used to functioning with. But they are demonstrating their commitment to this city. They're demonstrating their commitment to continuing to provide the services that we all rely on, which is why it's important for us to take the steps that I've shared today to demonstrate our commitment back to them. I'm happy to take any questions.
So, Mr. Mayor, are you going to name this group at all today? And can you tell us where the group is located specifically? What can you share about the group?
What I know about the group is that they're located on the dark web. I don't know physically where the actors are located. I would love to tell you the names of lots of city employees who have gone way above and beyond to provide city services for our community. The group has named themselves on the internet, and I don't deem them worthy of me saying their name.
Can you confirm it's Interlock?
That is the group that has put released that online.
How much of a ransom did they ask for?
That's any information like that was specifically related to the criminal investigation, which is being led by the FBI. I'm not able to provide any information about the criminal component to this investigation. Obviously, we wish those agents well, and we'll be listening very closely for any findings that they're able to release as well.
Is there any indication of people who pay the city for services that their data has been leaked? Is it just personnel stuff for the city, or are there credit card numbers? Is there anything like that?
No, the work is really the work is really contained to some of the systems and the data that's held on premises. A lot of the type of data that you just described will be held in clouds, and all of those cloud-based services will be separate systems.
Mayor, how much will this cost the city?
We don't have a detailed analysis of that yet. Obviously, if there's a fire, we put out the fire and we figure out how much the water costed later. This has been an emergency situation, and so we've been on deck, all hands on deck, responding to that emergency. It will certainly be expensive. Our staff, like I said, have been working day and night, literally around the clock. The Operation Secure St. Paul that I just talked about is open right now. I was there yesterday at 5:30 a.m. and there was staff who had been there who had already been there for an hour before I got there. And that operation runs until 10 p.m. every night. So there will be a significant overtime bill for that, for the work that we had to do, for example, to make sure that we met payroll for the cybersecurity experts that we're working with. Those costs are significantly less than it would cost us to not take those measures. And so that's why we choose this posture in an emergency situation. We, of course, will share that information as it becomes available.
Can you explain the decision behind not paying the ransom?
I'm sorry, say again?
Can you explain the decision behind not paying the ransom?
Absolutely. As I've shared since the beginning of this emergency, we have maintained full access to all of our data. Among other measures, in those first days since the suspicious activity was recognized in our servers, our IT staff, led by Director Jamie Wascalis, who's here with me, took quick action to back up all of our city data across the whole city. So we knew from the beginning that there was not a likely scenario in which someone could lock us out or encrypt our data in such a way that we could not access it. And the next step that our IT staff took was to was to unplug all of those systems so nobody else could take those over. So we've maintained full control of all of our systems and full access to all of our data. We, as I've shared with you all in the past, have been working over the past 2 weeks to try to assess what, if any, data could have been removed from our servers. As recently as yesterday, I shared with many of you that I hadn't seen any evidence that any data whatsoever had been removed from our servers. That was based on a number of things. That was based on the forensic investigation that our staff is conducting alongside the FBI and our cybersecurity experts, but it was also based on the communication with the threat actor. I've learned more than anybody really needs to know about this stuff, and one of the first things that I've learned, and you know, it reminds me of any kidnapping movie anybody has seen, where the first step is to provide what they call proof of life. Demonstrate that you have what you say you have. We asked them to demonstrate what they had, and they, instead of demonstrating what they had, decided to end the conversation, which was an indication to us that they may not have thought that they had much by way of value, much of value. That assessment is consistent, again, with the fact that instead of trying to go and sell the data that they had, they released it for free. Finally, based on the recommendations of our cybersecurity experts, the Minnesota National Guard, and the FBI, we received consensus recommendations from all parties involved not to pay a ransom.
Mr. Mayor, does the city have any cybersecurity insurance, number one? And number two, are you confident that the systems are good? Like, you wouldn't have to do any kind of rebuilds of the system at all or anything like that?
First question, the city self-insures for cybersecurity incidents. The second question is, as I said, you know, my job is to gain yellow belts in a whole range of things over time. And one of the things that I've learned over the past couple of weeks is that many of the systems, it's one of the reasons it took us a little bit, and we wanted to make sure we understood the level of severity before unplugging those systems and turning them completely off, because many of those aren't as simple as just sort of flipping a switch and bringing them back online. They require kind of reconstruction. That's one of the things that our Minnesota National Guard, and if the governor's listening, sorry, I keep calling you to say thank you for the Minnesota National Guard. They've been incredible and amazing every step along the way. But that's one of the things that our the men and women of the Minnesota National Guard have been busy helping us with. We are working, as I said before, to install enhanced cybersecurity software on literally every single device within the city's network. That has been an important step for us. One of the things that I'm hearing loud and clear from some of the experts that we're working with right now is that, particularly in the age of AI, that both the sophistication and the sheer volume of attacks that come at our systems all day, every day, take us beyond a day where our expectation would be that we'd build a wall that nobody could ever get through. The question is, how do you build systems that can recognize threats, recognize illicit activity quickly, as our systems did in this case, and how do you build protocols so that the people in place, people like Director Wiskalis, who's here with me, people like our Chief Information Security Officer, Steph Horvath, people like the men and women who work in our city's cybersecurity teams, know what actions to take when that alarm goes off. They did those actions very well. So we're very proud of that work and very appreciative of their work to put us in the strong position that we're in. We'll continue. For example, 3 years ago, we didn't have a full-time Chief Information Security Officer. So we will continue to boost our cybersecurity protocols and our cybersecurity posture as a city. And we certainly will be unpacking this for any lessons that we've learned in the last couple of weeks as we do that. I will say that particularly as we consider a threat actor as sophisticated and as capable as the one that our teams have had to battle these past couple of weeks. When we look at the volume of data that we have compared to the volume of data that was released today, when we look at some of the releases that they have made in the past compared to the release that they did today, that there are signs to be found in this that our team operated very capably.
Is it fair to say then that some is being rebuilt, reconstructed? Is it fair to say it that way?
I think so.
Yeah. Maybe, how would you phrase it? If you're reconstructing, is it a rebuild? What is it exactly?
I would say, you know, after you take everything down, like Mayor said, you can't just turn it on right away. So what we have to do is we have to thoroughly investigate every single system, server, application. That's what is taking so long. Our cyber incident response team that we've hired is going through every single server, every single file. And then once they clear it, we take it, and then we're going to start testing it. So that's really what's taking so long. We have to make sure that the threat actor left no trace, right? And so that's what's really taking a long time, and that's very typical for these. Any cybersecurity expert will tell you when you take the whole system down, it's not like that. You got to take time. You have to be careful to make sure that your data and your system stay secure.
I'll add to that. Thank you. That was Director Jamie Wascalis, the Director of the Office of Technology and Communications for the city. I will add to that part of what's taking so long is the fact that, frankly, putting our network systems and applications that our employees rely on back online has not been our top priority through this. Our top priority through this has been ensuring that if you call 911, a police car is on the way, that a fire truck is on the way, that an ambulance is on the way. Our top priority has been ensuring that on a hot, sunny day, our pools remain open and that city services remain available to people. At times, that's been competitive. So, for example, I shared with you all at the beginning of this that the goal of keeping 911 services online and interrupted, we diverted resources away from getting networks back online as soon as possible to ensure that our 911 systems remained uninterrupted. There became a point in time where it became clear that the strongest threat to our 911 services, our emergency response services, wasn't a hacker somewhere else taking them down, but was if we failed to meet our payroll. Our payroll team, incredible payroll team, had 1 week to take systems that they're used to running on computers and pressing enter and having process and turn them into manual systems in 1 week, to turn them into manual systems and execute those systems. And they did that incredibly. They worked tirelessly day in and day out for that week to make sure that last Friday we were able to meet our promise to our employees and get payroll done for the 3,500, not just employees, but the 3,500 families that rely on our City of St. Paul payroll on behalf of the 300,000 families that rely on those 3,500 city employees. So in that case, for example, getting payroll done became a higher priority for us than getting those network systems and getting those applications back online. So that's a part of what's taken so long as well.
Because in other cities, Atlanta, Baltimore, this is not a first, right? The ransomware guys, they have to do a rebuild quite often because ransomware guys circle back and try again.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of the reason why you got to do the rebuild, because they're known to try again once they've done it once?
Well, our goal is a lot of these cases, folks do circle back and try again, which is one of the reasons not just coming back sort of returning to normalcy wasn't the goal. The goal was to return to a much higher level. Those password resets, making sure those passwords are very secure, making sure that we're combing through every single device and boosting the cybersecurity software on every single device. I said that we caught this earlier. If we had the type of cybersecurity software now, then that would just 2-3 weeks ago that we now have on 90% of city devices, we'd have caught it even earlier. So boosting all of those things boosts significantly our cybersecurity posture and puts us in a much stronger state of readiness. And again, that's not a place even there that we can rest and sit still. We're going to have to continue to push that moving forward.
Is there any evidence that they did try to come back again?
Jay, is there anyone else in the room that would like to ask a question?
I don't have any evidence that they tried to come back again. This is an evolving circumstance and a very fluid situation. Did you have a question?
Yeah. Do you have a time estimate for how long it'll take to complete the work that remains?
Oh, great question. This is a. I think Director Wascalis grimaces a little bit every time I say it, but I think of this as a citywide Control-Alt reset or Control-Alt delete of our city systems, and so that, like I said, has included scouring through every system and every server, every application that we host. It's included addition of all of that cybersecurity software on all of the devices, and the reset of all of those. The grand finale of this process is the reset of literally every single password for every single user on our systems. That is an incredible operation. Had our city staff spent 12 months planning that operation, I would have been impressed by that. Our city staff spent 4 days planning that operation, and it's just mind-blowing. That operation, once that is complete, that'll mark our ability to start bringing those systems back online. Again, some of those won't be a matter of just flipping a switch. They'll be a matter of kind of rebuilding them and getting them back online over time. We've spent the last couple of weeks getting from our departmental leaders those lists of the most critical applications. We expect to start rolling them back on by the end of this week.
Any other questions at all?
Thank you all for your time. We'll continue to keep you posted as this situation evolves.
Yes. Okay, are we off? Are we done? Okay. Yes, well, I can say that they didn't just look up and say, I'm gonna target St. Paul Park somewhere. I would say that the only data that they were able to access were the user